Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to today's pick a card reading. It is me, um, in real form, and I know I should have been around more, and I apologize for always getting way too excited way too soon about the channel and about having time to post. Things didn't quite go the way I thought. Um, I I will blame eclipse season for some of it, because what was that? Uh, I've never felt so convinced of astrology before. I mean, I bring it up in readings. I find it very interesting. I'm very open-minded about it. I mean, I read cards, so. But what was that? uh, yeah, what was that? How was it for you? Crazy for me. Okay, but moving on from that, I'm very happy to be here, but I do not have an extended reading today. I do have channeled messages in the main reading, and they are quite long and in-depth, so hopefully the collective reading, main reading itself will be kind of like a mega reading in that sense. And personal readings are still available. Anything else that I have to say? Not really, but I am hoping to post very soon again. I'm just not gonna, I should just stop saying things like that, because I know it doesn't always end up going to plan. So I will try my best to post as often as I can. And I personally hope it's going to be very often, but we'll see. But happy to be here, and I'm very happy to see you, feel you, and yeah, see you soon. Choose your group, and yeah, see ya. Hello, my beautiful group ones, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at who it is that needs to tell you the truth, and then we're going to look at what it is that they need to say. And we'll start with an energy check so that you can decide if this is someone that you want to or need to hear from. Otherwise, feel free to choose another group. But let's see. Starting off, we have Sparks of Light. We have Tiger. Some of you are going to feel drawn to multiple groups. You're going to feel split between multiple groups, and that is fine. I would recommend listening to both in that case. If you didn't feel drawn to multiple groups, just ignore what I'm saying, but I think this is going to resonate in a particular way for some of you, and I think it's going to, maybe the additional answers you seek will be in another group. Just to put that out there. But we have the last quarter, and we have make it look like the night. This message is long overdue. And I don't know if this is because you have not been in contact with this. I want to call this energy a being. I don't necessarily feel that. Let me put it this way. I think for a lot of you, this is kind of a message from far away. It feels far away physically. It feels very close to your heart. It feels like this is an energy, a presence that is very significant to your journey. It is quite a strong energy. It is a very powerful energy. This person is very confident in you, in your spirit, and in your abilities to make it through this very difficult chapter that you are going through right now. And this message is long overdue because maybe you have not been tapped into your intuition. Maybe you've taken a break from the tarot, from divination, which is perfectly fine. And I think breaks are very necessary to prevent burnout with the content that you consume. If there is too much noise, you're gonna get a headache, you're gonna be confused, you're just gonna see fog. And I feel for a lot of you, this will have been the energy that you've been in. And this person, energy being, this is one group, and this is not the first group I've filmed, so that's why I'm saying this. I feel that this person may resonate for some of you as a family member. For some of you, this may resonate as your higher self, or an energy from your, I'm hearing team of spirits. And I don't use terms like this very often. I think it's kind of a personal thing, how you connect with the energies around you, how you may feel the energies around you, how you may label, differentiate between these energies around you. But lately, I have felt a shift in my intuition, in the way I pick up on energies. And I want to say that this energy in itself, it's coming through very wise. I don't know why I randomly dropped this fact about that I've been picking up on energies differently. I think, I'm gonna say it, the eclipse has been crazy. It's been very difficult for me personally. I hope it has not been very difficult for you, but I think if you are in tune, or if you have been in tune, even if you've been out of touch with it, you've been maybe called back to it. Because there has been a need for realignment. And I know some of you will think, why are you talking about this? I wanted to hear from another person. I think some of you, it's almost like you may have been resisting this message, this knowledge, that you have been holding yourself back. Whether this is through procrastinating, whether this is through telling yourself what you want is not possible, it's not going to work out, it's not going to happen, it's not true. None of that is true. You are so powerful, but you've been giving your power away. You are so powerful, and you've let other people define your energy. You've let other people tell you who you are. It's like seeing this power. You've witnessed your own power, your own energy, how much you can love, how much you can give, how much you can nurture. You've witnessed that, and for some of you, I feel like you've assigned that to someone else, like it's coming from outside of you, like it's coming from something else, someone else. Like you can't have that energy without someone else being there. Someone in particular being there, maybe someone in general being there for some of you. But if you have someone in mind coming into this reading, I feel like this is kind of a call to first, before hearing anything else from anyone else, recognizing your own power and recognizing the strength of the connection you have with your higher self, with spirit, with the universe, with God, whatever you may feel more comfortable calling it. That's not what matters. A label is not what matters, but it's the power. It's the feeling of it. And you can feel so deeply. You can feel emotions, energies beyond your own. And sometimes it all gets mixed up. Sometimes you don't really know what you're looking at. And that is okay. But it's very important at this point in your journey to differentiate between other people and what they reflect onto you, what they project onto you, and your real reflection, because not every mirror that is around is going to show an accurate image of you. But mirrors can be helpful in getting a good idea of like what we kind of look like, but they're never going to be, well, most of the times they're not going to be exact. Maybe sometimes they make you look too tall, they make you look shorter. Whatever it may be, like they make your face look distorted because they're one of those funny mirrors. Whatever it may be, I think there is an energy of discernment that this being, this person, is calling you to embody. And I think regardless of who this person is, it's almost like, first and foremost, the message is what needs to be said. Because in the other group I filmed, we first talked about the person and who they are, and I feel like in this energy, the message is coming through first. And I think there will, yeah, I thought so. I cut the deck, we have the King of Wands, because I thought there will maybe be an additional energy that comes through with this message. But the first, like the energy that is being highlighted is yours. This being, this energy needs you to know about yourself and know of your own power and to know that you're almost there. It's been a long time coming. You've wanted this for so long. You've wanted to be able to breathe. Your chest may feel heavy. Your head may feel heavy. You may feel like there's just too much information and not enough solution, not enough resolution, not enough clarity, not enough oxygen. That's what it feels like. But that is part of the illusion. That is part of the end of this chapter as it fades, as it becomes night, it becomes dark, becomes harder to see. Maybe it feels too foggy, so you don't have moonlight, you don't have starlight. But you have your intuition, and you will make it through this. Because I think for a lot of you, you may be in a very difficult place emotionally. It may be caused by the person that will be coming through. Because I feel this very strong, like, being coming through, and then behind it, there is almost like someone waiting. It feels like this huge energy. Huge energy, and then someone in the back that also maybe needs to talk to you, or an energy, it's an energy that needs to be kind of untangled from the complexity of itself. You may have had to deal with situations that were entirely unfair, not just emotionally, not just connection-wise, but I think this pattern is maybe spread out to different aspects of your life. But connection has been a significant aspect of your life that you may have struggled with. Because I think you have this immense power, this immense light that you carry. So anyone that is in your presence is also exposed to this light. And not everyone is comfortable with that. Not everyone wants to see themselves in high definition. Not everyone wants to see their wounds. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes the wounds are much deeper, much bigger than they expected. Sometimes they see huge scars that they forgot were there, but your light highlights that, shows that to them again. And maybe this has been a pattern in your relationships, that you trigger people, and you may have taken that to mean that something is wrong with you. But that is not the case. You are not defined by what other people are triggered by. You are a mirror. Other people are mirrors too. But you are a mirror with, like, you know those vanity mirrors with a lot of light? That's how your energy is coming through, and not everyone's comfortable looking at themselves, seeing themselves like that. I feel like you've had to be very strong. This being that is coming through, they are on your team. I'm having a hard time pinning down who this person might be because this energy feels so protective over you, but it feels so powerful. It doesn't really feel like it's one 3D person. It's almost like a multi-dimensional energy that is coming through. And if you've watched my readings before, you will know I don't typically talk about this type of thing. It's not like every reading I do, I'm like, wow, crazy presence. So I feel like this is very outstanding, I want to say. But it is very important that you do not mix up your own power as someone else's. The power, the love, the strength that you've witnessed in your life, it does not come from other people. But it is easier to see it when there are other people who are putting you through trials, when there are other people who want love, who want gentleness, who want protection, who want nourishment, and then you give to them freely, especially people who don't ever want to stop taking. Then you give and you give and you give, and you see that love, you see that strength, you see that light, and then maybe you associate that with someone else, but it comes from you. And this is not to say that the people in your life or the connections you've had have to be all bad. It doesn't have to be so black or white. But I think the important thing is also to not look at yourself as black or white, but as a human being having a very human experience, sometimes making mistakes, sometimes being in the right, sometimes getting hurt, also capable of hurting others. And I feel like you have so much spiritual, like, wisdom. You have such a good, like, a very strong sense of empathy, maybe a bit too strong to the point where you would rather sacrifice yourself than make someone else feel bad. But you don't have to silence yourself or make yourself small to fit into boxes, into rooms you were never meant to fit into. Because that's painful. If you can't get to be who you are, it's the simplest thing to just be. Yet sometimes it's so difficult to just be. And I feel like that is a skill to practice as well, to just be yourself freely, honestly, genuinely. So don't back down, especially if there is conflict going on right now within a connection. Don't back down. And I want to now actually supplement this with this energy that was in the back, because it's almost like the energy that is coming through, this tiger is standing in front of you. like standing between you and this other energy. The tiger is protecting you. That's what it feels like. Which is interesting. Fun fact, I have a tiger photo that I have always thought protects like my room. But let's see. What is this energy that is coming through for... Interesting. It's the swan. And we were talking about mirrors and reflections. This is someone who there is a very deep emotional connection here, but this person has not shown up in the way that they were supposed to, or that they were expected to, or that they expected themselves to. I don't think this is someone who meant to hurt you, but they're late, or they're not there yet. And this could have to do with their spiritual progress within themselves, but it could also have to do with this person just not showing up when they promised they would, quite literally, quite in a physical way. The swan is a lover energy. I don't think this necessarily has to be a romantic connection still, but I do think this is someone that it's almost like they were meant to love you. And they do love you, just not in a way that feels real and safe and grounded to you. Not yet, at least. I get the sense for some of you this may resonate as a future person, or as like a new energy, either someone transformed or someone entirely new, but they're still not quite doing it for you. And at first I thought this tiger was kind of like protecting you because there would be anger towards this energy, but that's not what's coming through. There is a protectiveness to the tiger energy for sure, but it's also almost like a translator type of energy, because maybe this energy is not one that you understand very well when you interact with it directly. The energy of the swan person, whoever they may be. Okay, I'm gonna pull some more cards. Kind of just gonna, yeah. We have the 8th house. Do I have to censor this? Probably. Okay. I'm just gonna put like a big stone over it because this is a flower, but it also looks like something else. And YouTube will not like that. So, I mean, everything on this card looks like something else, but I hope we're gonna slip past the AI getting mad at me for my nudity-filled decks. We have the 8th house. Scorpio energy could be significant, or Scorpio season, which is coming up if you're watching this reading at the time I'm filming it. We're also going to pull a card from the Iris Oracle. I don't know if I said this already, but I decided in the end to not do extended readings today. I kind of want to go all in on the just collective reading here. Personal readings still are available, but I want to kind of focus on, for now, the main collective readings and personals. Who is this person that is coming through for group 1? Who is this person that is coming through for group 1? Who is this person? Everything you need too soon. There is something about timing. And there is fear. I think that fear is mirrored in both you and this person. You may have had, bottom deck energies hiding. This person is avoiding you, not for the reasons that you think. It's not because they want to burn you. It's almost like they're behind this portal, this dimension, this last quarter that you are experiencing. This person is... they're coming. That's what it feels like. This is quite such an interesting energy. If this resonates with you, please tell me what's up. We have the Void. It feels like they're not there. I've never seen this card before. What is this card? It's nothing. I mean, it's not nothing, but I've never seen this card before. I didn't know this card existed. We have also Chiron and Reddening. It feels like you're bleeding right now, but this person is too. This is a time of everything you've repressed, fears, things you've avoided, things you've put off. Everything is coming to light, and that feels overwhelming. It feels like everything is tumbling down at once. But now is the time to focus on getting yourself to the next chapter. It may feel like you've lost everything. You've lost faith. You've lost patience. You're just done. You're tired. You're gonna be pleasantly surprised. You're not really gonna be surprised. You know this is coming. You just have been telling yourself it won't come in the end because maybe you were used to being disappointed. This is going to manifest. This is someone that really cares about you, or will care about you, or has cared about you. I don't want to put a label on this person in the sense that the backstory of who they are, but this is someone you've been waiting for. And I feel like you've been waiting for this person for a long time. Whether you exactly know who this is and you've been waiting for this specific person to come back around or to come around, or whether you've just kind of specified the type of people you want in your life, and based on that, this is the person that you've been waiting for, like you've been planning for, you've been hoping for. That's what it feels like, but they're not quite there yet. They're not quite ready yet because this chapter is not done yet. And this person, it's almost like if your life is like a TV show and like it's separated into seasons. This person is not an actor that's been hired for this season. I don't know why I'm talking about TV shows suddenly. Maybe that is of some significance. That's so vague. TV shows of signal. Anyway, but, or maybe something about producing TV shows or acting. But that's not to say this person is an actor, or like, in the sense that they're not pretending to be something that they are not. I think you have been with people or come across people who have either in a way pretended to be what this person will be for you, like a perfect match, soulmate, the person you've been waiting for type energy, or you have met people that I lost my train of thought, but it just feels like you've maybe mistaken other people for this person. And that's not to blame you for that. But it's almost this energy of this big breakthrough that you've been waiting for. It's not almost, it is the energy of a big breakthrough. What I was gonna say is, it's either that, like, you've tried to replace this energy or settle for something, but this energy, thoughts of it have not really left your mind, your body, or it's been someone that you had mistaken for this person, this type of energy, this type of partnership. It's almost like this tiger energy is mediating this situation between your energy and this person. This is someone that has a very big heart, that is also very, very deeply emotional, incredibly loyal, someone who is beautiful inside and out, but they're kind of shy. They're coming across shy. And I think that's because they have had experiences where they've felt like they were rejected, shut down. Their energy wasn't matched. So if you don't have anyone you've been waiting for, yeah, this may not be your pile, or maybe only the first part was relevant, but if you have someone you've been waiting for, you've felt the presence of, or you've been wanting to hear back from, you've been wanting to connect with more, you've been wanting to deepen your connection with, I think that is mutual. It's just a matter of timing. And timing is very crucial here. You don't want to take your cake out of the oven before it's cooked entirely, before it's cooked to perfection. And that's what it feels like to me in this case. But let's get some... I'm just going to move it like this. Let's get some tarot and let's hear from this person what it is that they would say to you, if they could say anything at all. We'll also get channeled messages at the end. This has been one of the most interesting collective readings I've done in a long time. I mean, it's not done yet, but it's so far been one of the most interesting group readings I've done. So, for group 1, please. What would this person say to group 1 if they could say anything at all? What would this person say to group 1 if they could say anything at all? And it feels like the history with this person, if you have history with them, it's almost like in this next chapter, it's not... It's a blank page. It's a blank slate. So I feel like in between, if this is someone from the past, but in any case, there is kind of this letting go of the past, releasing patterns of the past, releasing habits of the past that may have been bringing very close to self-sabotage. We have the 2 of Wands in reverse, and we have the 10 of Wands. That is also just Wands coming through. That for me really speaks about this kind of the strength, the power of the energy that has been coming through, and that maybe for a lot of you, this person has not properly, physically, solidly manifested in your life. for my group ones. This one, interesting. It did like a little flip. I'm curious. It's the Emperor in reverse. It didn't flip out, but it just kind of flipped on top of the deck. So we'll see if it comes out again. But we'll keep that in mind. That is also more fire energy. And the Emperor is a divine counterpart energy. So if you resonate with that, I'll just put that out there. For group one. Group one. The Fool. More Aries energy. Interesting. Aries energy or season could be significant, but that is also, Aries is the first sign. It's new chapters, new beginnings. It's the new after being the Ten of Wands and the Fool. It's releasing the weight of the past. And this person, it's kind of just an energy of give it a chance. I know you've had it tough. I know it has been incredibly difficult. I know maybe you're in a place where you can't even imagine what your future will look like because you've been disappointed. And it feels scary to think about the future when you've been disappointed because you don't want to be disappointed again. You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be wrong about people. You don't want to be wrong about situations. You don't want to hope for something that may not come. But I think there is a lot of like reassurance here. In the sense that this is not something that is going to pass you by. This is also someone who has carried their own share of emotional baggage. They've had it rough as well. Maybe you have not had the exact same experiences, but I feel like you've learned similar lessons, especially when it comes to connecting on an intimate level, connecting authentically. Knowing that you can't predict everything that's going to happen, but you can choose how you show up in the present. What would this person say to my group ones if they could say anything at all, please? What would they say to my group ones? We have the Six of Cups in reverse. We've met before was the first thing that I heard. So for some of you, this may resonate as an ex or someone that you feel like you've known from a past life, or someone that you have known from a past life, depending on what your beliefs are around that. Still, years later, it's been years and I still don't know how I feel about it. But I've definitely met people where I thought I've met you before. Like, even if it's, not in this life, not that I remember, but you seem so familiar. It's bizarre. So this is someone that has a very warm, reassuring energy, actually. Like, very responsible as well. Someone that can take on a lot. We have the Page of Cups in reverse. In this sense, the Page of Cups in reverse, even though this is not typically how I would interpret it, it's coming across as like, I'm serious. I have serious intentions. I'm not, it's kind of like saying not Page of Cups, rather than like kind of the other facet of it. The way it's coming through is just, no, not Page of Cups. We have a bunch that fell to the floor. We have the Four of Wands. I love to see that. You don't have to do this alone. We have 4 wands, not 2. You've been waiting. You've been waiting. You've been waiting. You've been waiting. You've had your 2 wands. You've tried to make something of it, but you can't really build a roof around it. You can't really build a home with it. And now I'm showing up with my 2 wands. So now we can make a proper home. We can make a proper roof. We can have a roof, we'll be sheltered, and then we can build around it. We can build with each other. This is very strong union energy, and this connection, it feels very deep, very strong, a lot to explore. We have the sun, lots of energy, the Seven of Cups in reverse. You don't have to doubt this. You don't have to fear the uncertainty, because I am reassuring you. I don't know why I'm speaking in first person. I don't necessarily like doing that in readings, but that's how it's coming through. I think this person has quite like a strong presence, a confident presence, even if they are a bit shy. They're not insecure at the time of them showing up. They're not insecure in the way that they reflect themselves to you. They don't want to show up insecure. They don't want to show up uncertain. But for some of you, this person, I think, is actually coming out of a difficult cycle themselves right now. I just saw the 10 of Swords, and there may have been a painful ending or a loss in their life that, although has been difficult, it also seems to have made some space for movement, for reconsideration, for new things. We have the 5 of Swords in reverse, and we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. For some of you, this is definitely someone from the past that you've had a lot of conflict with, that you tried to resolve, but you could not. Like, in terms of seeing eye to eye, this would have been someone that would have been pretty stubborn, but you've held your ground against them, if this is someone from the past. And this is coming across as like them having grown through this, potentially having experienced a bit of an emotional roller coaster and some unexpected instability in their own life. Maybe a divorce, maybe a big breakup, maybe the loss of a loved one. But this person has been shaken, and that has been very difficult, but in the end, it has brought them, or it is bringing them to a point where they're able to liberate themselves from what was limiting them before. And they are in a place where they need you to not doubt this, and not doubt them, and to not doubt that they're coming. And they're not coming because they have to, they're coming because they want to. I think that's also very important to know about this person. If this is someone from the past, for some of you, they may have been quite emotionally immature or emotionally unexpressive entirely, like just silent, like stoic, like a wall. This shift in their life has paved the way for more emotional expression. What else would this person like to say to my group ones, please? What else would this person like to say to my group ones? What else would this person like to say to my group ones? For some of you, this could have been a third-party situation for some of you with the 3 of Cups and the 10 of Swords. You will already know about this if that is the case. And maybe, like, in that case, a divorce is applicable. But the 3 of Cups and the 10 of Swords, they're not playing around anymore. This person is done with games. This person is, they don't want something that's just, like, fun. I mean, they want fun, but they don't want just fun. They don't want someone to just, like, mess around with. They want something serious. This is coming across to me as, like, I've learned my lesson. This is not satisfying. It's not satisfying to not be emotionally engaged, to not be seen. It's not satisfying to escape instead of heal. it's not satisfying. They're coming across as someone that's like more matured than maybe when you last saw them, or matured compared to their previous chapter, if this is someone you don't quite know yet but have been wanting to come around. But this is not someone that's going to play games. I heard 2 daughters. You may have 2 daughters, this person may have 2 daughters, or something about 2 daughters. We have the Devil. Capricorn energy could be significant. That is also kind of coming up. And we have Leo energy too, which I forgot to mention. And we also have Judgment. Aquarius. This person is awakening to this connection, which is interesting because that gives me the impression that for a lot of you, you may already know this person, and maybe the majority is that this person is from the past, but they have new energy. So it feels like some form of renewal at the very least, or a completely new version of this person, an awakened version of this person. Like they're waking up. I don't want to hear that song. It's Radioactive. That's the song. That's what I'm hearing. You can check out the lyrics if you feel called to do so. It's by Imagine Dragons. Just got a bit distracted by the song for a second, but I'm also hearing you're not imagining it. It's mutual. They're awakening to it. Maybe one interpretation of this I would get is like, if you're very intuitive and you've just been feeling someone coming, you've just been manifesting someone coming, I think this person is also awakening to the fact that like they want someone like you, even if they don't know you. But maybe they know you and they're awakening to, yeah, I want you in particular. But I think it's just kind of a matter of crossing paths with this person again. That's what it feels like. Yeah, because they've passed you by before, or you've mistaken someone else for them. Or maybe you've both kind of thought you had this type of love before, but it just didn't quite happen that way. And now it's real. That's what it feels like. It feels like this person is trying to reassure you. I feel like that's the main energy. Knight of Cups in reverse and Death. But if we tune into the exact present, I feel like right now, for a lot of you, this person is going through a difficult ending that they're having to be very strong about. This was something that made them feel stable. So again, it could be a divorce, it could be a loss in kind of the household, in their sense of home, or in their sense of self. But that is making space for the new. I see you. That's what I'm hearing. I see you. I see you. I know you're around. Maybe for some of you, you could be talking online as well. Maybe that's why their energy kind of feels like not like it didn't fully manifest yet. Is there anything else that wants to come through? We're gonna get some channeled messages. The Emperor in reverse is the bottom deck as I stopped shuffling. And I kept seeing the Empress before, but upright. I feel like you are ready. This person is wrapping it up, wrapping something up. And that's maybe the delay. That's maybe kind of the mismatch with timing. I just saw 47, 46. These numbers in particular could be significant, but it also makes me think of like someone's one step ahead. Someone's one step more aware. Someone's seen one step more than the other. Where did I put the channeled messages? I had them. I specifically, I don't know. Okay, so we have a bunch. Starting off, we have you are so important to me and intuition. Yeah, I feel like intuition is a very big aspect of this connection. I think this person is also very intuitive, but I think they would identify as a logical person if you ask them. I'm trying to be logical about this. I don't want to let you go. I'm worried about the future. I don't know what your intentions are. What message wants to come through for group 3, please? I want you to be happy. You need to focus on yourself. I feel like this kind of aligns with the initial energy that was coming through, the tiger energy that was coming through. And we also have, I am only interested in you. I pulled some oracles for group 3, so I'm going to do the same for you. Although I suppose the first half of this reading was kind of just a big splotch of additional information for you, but I'd still pull some oracles. What affirmation? Oh. We have indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. Okay. Fair. That seems fitting for this situation. And judgment. Okay. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges, and that this is taking some time does not mean that it's not coming. And bottom deck energy is envy. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. So it's, I guess, very important to have perspective over that. That this person may have their own challenges is not, it does not translate to rejection, to a rejection of you. Or it does not translate to, it's hopeless, because it doesn't feel like it. Is there anything else? And this is all purple too, which again makes me think of intuition. Is there anything else? IJ. Makes me think of the MBTI. Even though I don't think it's, I mean, it's pretty accurate somehow. As, but as someone that studied psychology, I can't fully, like, vouch for it, but bottom deck energy now is I accept responsibility for my well-being, so I will put that out there too. And I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So much purple. And then you gotta ground yourself a bit in your own intuition. And remember that energies are changing. So don't forget to check in. Sometimes the answer will change. And on this note, this is all I have for you. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what's going on, actually, if this resonated with you. Yeah, no extended today, but personal readings are available. I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye. Hello, my beautiful group 2s, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at who it is that needs to tell you the truth, and then we're going to get into this truth itself. So starting off, we have some oracle cards that I already pulled. We'll start with a little energy check. You can decide if this is someone you want to or need to hear about or hear from. Otherwise, feel free to choose a different group and try that out. There will be no extended today. I just wanted to focus on the main collective reading, and I've been focusing more on personals lately. So that's what's happening today. Okay, let's get into it and see who is coming through for you. Starting off, we have the uncreated. We have the 12th house. Pisces energy could be significant, but it doesn't have to be. Pisces season as well. We have the Panther, and we also have the one who needs to control. The main thing coming through here for me, the initial thing, is potential. I feel like a lot of this connection it circles around potential rather than something that has been built, rather than some form of foundation. And for some reason, this pyramid, I mean, I know it's 3D, but it's meant to represent a 3D shape, but I'm kind of just drawn to like the 3 corners here. That makes me feel like there has been some form of interruption, disruption. For some of you, this could be a third-party situation or a situation where you've moved on. You've kind of taken different paths from this point where you met, or from this point where the connection still stands. Because it's almost a sense of you met this person, and in terms of the 3D, in terms of what's actually progressing between the two of you, not much has happened. And yet this point in time, this connection point, still exists. And so the connection still exists, but it's almost like it's not really talked about. So this could be someone that you're in no contact with, and someone that you would likely feel like you're going in circles with, where there was maybe promise of something, there was maybe hope for something to happen, for this situation to grow, for this person to grow, for there to be an opportunity to really ground this connection, but some rules or some responsibilities, some self-limiting beliefs, a mix of all, potentially, it's gotten in the way. It's this sense of like this carrot being dangled in front of you, but it's like you're on a treadmill and you can't seem to get there. So there is frustration coming through in the situation itself. I think this person themselves, they're quite tough as their exterior. I think this exterior even has kind of seeped into the interior. Like they're kind of cracked open in some ways, but they don't want to be. So they're constantly nailing themselves back. They're constantly trying to put themselves back together, but it's kind of like what I'm seeing is like you break like a porcelain plate, and instead of gluing it together or just doing something that kind of would make more sense to heal that, this person just puts like nails. And these things that when I say healing in this sense, I think this person is someone with a lot of fears and a lot of preconceived notions as to who they're meant to be, what they're meant for, what should be in their life, what shouldn't be in their life. And I also get the sense that for some of you, this person will have learned this from someone or something else, potentially from observing another relationship, potentially from having been in another relationship, or I could also see this being like family influence or gender roles, something societal, not necessarily gender roles, but something like societal, something their community at the very least. It's kind of like deciding right and wrong based on not what feels right for them, but what has been decided is right by something else or someone else or by previous decisions that they made. Because there is a strong commitment to how their life is right now. There's a strong commitment to this chapter that they're in, this pattern that they're in. But that doesn't mean it feels right. Yesterday, I saw this reel. I don't remember the name of the creator, unfortunately. But I was knitting and scrolling on the side to ADHD, I suppose. But I saw this video where it said confusion can actually be because you actually know the truth. You know when something doesn't feel right, but you're not ready to accept it. You're not in a place where you can acknowledge it, where you can embody it, because there are consequences. And you know through intuition that it's going to bring change once you accept this, because once you accept this, you can't unsee it. You can't go back. And I feel that it's that kind of situation where this person has been in the same chapter of their life because there are realizations that they're afraid to have. And I think for some of you, this will have to do very much with this connection, that they have avoided it, that they have been afraid of showing up wrong, is what I heard. Showing up in a way they don't want to show up, showing up as a version of them that they're not familiar with, because this connection screams change at this person, and it's almost like it's driving them mad because they can't make it shut up. They can't make it go away. They're still connected to this point of origin with this connection. Even if you are in separation, even if you have not ever grounded this connection with this person, it's almost like this was promised but never realized. This was promised as a potential but never created because the situation wasn't right. The circumstances weren't right. They weren't ready. They pushed it away. And there is an aggression in their energy that they are kind of angrily pushing this away. And I don't think they're angry at you, but I do think this will be someone that has maybe projected anger at you because they are very angry and they don't have anywhere to put it. Because any crack in their outer shell, and I think a lot of the cracks come from the inside, like too much emotion, too much repression, and it's pushing out, it's cracking their shell, but they try to keep it all in. They try to nail it all back. And that doesn't quite work. It has never really worked, but it's almost like at this point they're just covered in nails, and it's getting to a point where they can't put any more nails on themselves to put themselves together, to keep themselves together, to hold it together. They are being cracked open. They have to be, because even if they are not physically walking anywhere, the energy is accumulating, the feelings are accumulating, the thoughts are accumulating, and they're not doing anything to express them. And this comes from a need for this person to have control over situations in their life. They don't like to, I was going to say they don't like to be hurt, but not many people do. But I meant they don't like to be hurt in the sense that being emotionally hurt seems to be like the most terrible, terrifying thing that could happen to this person. Putting themselves on the line, really showing up as themselves, because then the rejection becomes real. I think this person is coming across as someone who is maybe some people-pleasing tendencies that they show up, how they think people would want them to, how they think is right, but they don't show up authentically. And by doing this, they sacrifice bits and pieces of themselves, or they ignore bits and pieces of themselves, which gets added to this collection of repressed pieces of them. And it's making them crack from the inside out. And I think you may have felt very pushed back by this person. They may have promised things and then run. They may have said one thing, done something completely different. They may have lashed out at you. They may have blamed you. I think in a way this is someone that may envy the way you are able to sit with your emotions, the way you're able to express them. And that intimidates this person, because they don't seem like someone that has been really able to do that. I heard they have love in their eyes, and you may not see that. Maybe because they keep closing their eyes, because they don't want to look, they don't want to see. And there is this kind of distortion that if they don't look, they don't see, they also can't be seen, they can't be observed. Kind of like an ostrich. But that's not quite how it works. And I feel like this is someone you feel very intuitively connected to. Someone that you really see the potential of, but I think you also know that just potential is, it's not enough to build something. You can't build on just potential. You need tools, you need effort, you need time, you need resources. You can't build a house with just a vision. You can't build a house with just the plan. You need the materials still. And I feel like that's the link that's missing in this connection. And I think for some of you, you have tried to build with this person. And you may feel like you failed almost, or that it's on you, but I feel like it was almost like this person was like taking the materials away. Like, you want to make a wooden house, you chop some wood, you bring it to this point, and this person just lights a fire and burns it down. That's what it feels like. And they may not do this with the intention of thinking, oh, I'm going to burn everything down, but they may think, oh, I'm I'm so hungry, I'm starving, I really need to make some food right now. And then they just light a fire to cook right next to the wood you collected, and then it burns it all down. All of this kind of complicated examples to say, I feel like this person really gets in their own way. That's not to justify any way in which they may have hurt you, because we are still responsible for our own healing. Even if we are hurt, even if we are struggling. And it doesn't have to be done perfectly, but I feel like for a lot of you, this person, maybe you may feel like they didn't even really try, that they haven't even been trying. They've just kind of been looking away. They've been ignoring it. And look at how both of these, like both the Panther and the one who needs to control, they're both kind of looking away. Yet this connection is here. It's at the center. And this kind of also looks like, makes me think of like coffee art. Maybe that's significant in some way, but it's just kind of this line going through here. The core of it all. I see it as kind of like, I mean, a book, and then everything is kind of gliding to the center. It's being pulled to the center. It's kind of caving in, but this person's trying their best to stay out of it, to run from it, to run from connection, to run from honesty, because there is something about themselves that they don't want to face. Because if they faced themselves, they really saw themselves, and then something goes wrong or they're rejected, then they really are rejected. It's not a version of them that they can dissociate from. It's not a role they're playing. It's really them. And I think that really scares them, because this person, they're having a hard time accepting themselves, maybe some things that they've done. They can't associate themselves with it. They find it difficult to do it because that would mean holding themselves accountable. That would maybe mean that they're not the type of person they thought they were. That doesn't mean they can't be. That doesn't mean they can't work towards it, but I feel like this person looks at things maybe very black or white in that sense. It's either all or nothing. And with you as well, it may be that like one moment it looks like maybe it'll be fine, maybe something will move, and then the next they take it all away. It may feel very hot and cold. And you may feel a bit haunted by this person as well. Like they always come up for some reason, even when you try to avoid them. Even when you're not looking for them. So if this sounds like someone you know or something you're experiencing, let's get into the tarot and see what it is that this person would say to you if they could be entirely honest. Nope. Group 2, please, Spirit. Group 2. What would this person want to say to my group 2s if they could say anything at all? We have the moon. Cancer or Pisces energy could be significant, but it's just for extra confirmation if you're looking for any. We have the 5 of Wands in reverse. I feel it too, is the first thing I hear. We have the Star as well. I still think of you. I still dream of you. Though I'm trying to make peace with what is, what has been, what could be, but I still think of you. In a way, this person still has hope. I don't know why I'm switching to first person again. I don't like doing that. Aquarius energy could also be significant for season. There is a certain distance coming through still, even though there's almost a sense of longing. But also, it feels defeated. Like it's like a distant fantasy. It's like a distant daydream. It's not something that feels real to this person. In the sense that they don't see it as something that can happen. Not for them. That's kind of what it feels like. We have the Four of Pentacles. This kind of makes me think of being cracked open again, but only this time it's a volcano. But there is a lot of energy, a lot of fire that's kind of brewing within them, and it needs to have an outlet. They need an outlet. They're still holding on to this connection. I don't think it's necessarily that they've given up, but also I don't think they find it realistic to have these hopes, to have these feelings. In a way, it may feel surreal because maybe it's been a long time, or you haven't really talked about these things in a way that makes them real. You know, like this person may feel like, oh, it hasn't been really acknowledged, or we haven't really talked about it. So I can just kind of write whatever story I want instead. I can, in some other world, pretend this is still there. I don't have to let it go because it's still there in some form, in some way. But that also keeps them stuck. Keeps them stuck, not really processing anything. Group 2, please. What would this person say to group 2s if they could say anything at all? I think they are sorry. Beneath it all, beneath the anger, they are sorry. But it's almost like anger comes first. The defenses come first. And if you would put all that effort and energy into just going all the way in, even though they're pushing out with everything that they have, like, then maybe you would get to the core where they're soft and vulnerable, but you also don't have to you shouldn't have to go in with force. And I feel like this person is currently very adamant on not letting someone in to their core, to what hurts, to what feels vulnerable. We have the Four of Wands in reverse. Yeah, there is that energy of just pushing out, distance, wanting distance, avoidance, but they also feel very alone. I think it's because they repress everything they feel. They just maybe move from thing to thing, distraction to distraction. They just bury themselves in their day-to-day. And that provides some kind of temporary relief. But there is a lot of pain that I think this person has not allowed themselves to feel. Maybe there's been a loss. Maybe it's the loss of this connection if you are in separation with this person, if you've gone through a breakup. But there is pain within them. And I think it comes from beyond this connection as well. It's kind of the type of pain that's kind of crystallized. it's become just part of their natural inner world. They've gotten so used to it that it maybe doesn't occur to them that they could do some landscaping, that they could change some things. Can we clarify the moon, please? What is this person afraid of, or what are they feeling? What would they say to group 2 if they could say anything at all? What would this person say to group 2? But yeah, also relatively more, I feel like it's taking more time for the cards to come out compared to the other groups. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse, the Seven of Cups, and then Two of Wands. And like, it was taking a while, and now we have 4 cards coming out at the same time. I also dropped one somewhere. So it's kind of imitating this volcano energy. It's dormant, it's quiet, and then it's kind of bursting out. I feel like that's their pattern. They repress until they can't anymore. We also have the Hanged Man in reverse. More Pisces energy. They feel more peaceful when this connection is locked away, when it's untouchable, because that also means that nothing can ruin it. Then they have the power to make it into whatever it is that they want it to be. But the trade-off is that it's only in their mind. Things are only really fine in their mind. Things only feel good in their mind, because they don't allow things to go further than that, because that puts them out of control. Then they allow themselves to be vulnerable, which is something that takes a lot of courage, but I think it's especially terrifying for this person, maybe because they've been rejected for who they are. It's almost like they don't want to go there. I also feel some Scorpio energy coming through. Scorpio season could also be significant, but it's kind of this person moves in secrecy almost because they don't want to be judged. It's not that they're always like doing sneaky things. I don't think that's necessarily the case unless you have already experienced that with this person. But they move in secrecy because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be misunderstood for their intentions. They don't want anyone else to have a say about them almost. Yet they have a lot of almost strict judgments about a lot of things, especially about other people, especially about relationships. But in a way, they still have hope, which it almost feels like it's not real hope, but it's some form of connection. It's some form of, it's hard to put it into words, but it's an energy of holding on. They're holding on to this connection, more so to the potential of it. And that potential still exists, but mainly in their mind. Because if it was to come into reality, I feel like they're still in a place where they would run from it, where they would push it away, where they would escape from it, where they would try to distract themselves. They are very drawn to you, and for them to be drawn to you, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to pursue them at all. I think that also spooks this person. If they are pursued, they want to be wanted, but they don't want to be pursued. They want to be seen, but they don't want to be observed. We have the Nine of Pentacles, yeah. They're really focused on their own energy. They could be more focused on their material world right now, or building for themselves. It's like they're building even more, maybe because the walls feel cracked, and now they're building a fence additionally around themselves. We have the Five of Pentacles in reverse, yeah, because it's almost like there is coldness seeping in through the cracks. And now they're building a fence to keep the cold out, but that's not really going to keep the cold out. So it kind of feels like they're trying to deal with pain, grief, heavy energies, but they don't quite have the best materials, the best methods, maybe the best ideas to go about it. We have the Three of Wands in reverse. They feel closed off and they feel stuck. For some of you, this person is maybe or has chosen a third party, or to pay mind to like a third factor within this relationship. It doesn't have to be a person necessarily, and you would know about it if it is. And we have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, it could also just be like a relative and their opinions. It could be their friends and their opinions, but something else has gotten in the way. They know something else has gotten in the way, but it kind of serves them in the sense that it gives them a reason to be able to keep this connection at bay. It, in their head, I feel, justifies it. That doesn't necessarily mean they've made the right choice or the choice that feels best for them truly. I feel like maybe they've made the easier choice, which maybe was running from this connection and not having to deal with intensity, not having to dive deep, because not everyone feels like they're well equipped to do that. Even if they have someone who knows how to dive deep, who's done it before, who feels more comfortable at a depth, even if there is someone offering to hold their hand, even if there is someone offering to guide them, to help them, to do it with them, it's like their fear of water is, that makes them just avoid, or their fear of the depths, their fear of diving deep, it's almost like it makes them avoid water entirely, and they're kind of just sitting on the sand at the beach, watching people go in the water, sometimes considering going in the water, fantasizing about swimming, but still terrified about what they may see. So they stay out of it. There is a bit like of kind of an artistic or almost like riddle like energy to this person. So they may have an artistic side, or you may. I think this person has also romanticized this connection, maybe romanticized the suffering that has come from it. In a way, it seems to have inspired them. Not necessarily to heal, not necessarily to do work, but it seems to have inspired them or motivated them to move when they were not moving at all. But that movement, it seems to be with the purpose of escaping. And for some of you, it could also be that this inspiration relates to this person like writing or painting or making music or something along those lines, but you have given them energy to use. It's just that they're maybe not using it in the best way possible. Like you give them a lot of, this situation has generated a lot of energy, but they're maybe just using that to like meet random people rather than going within, or rather than progressing their life in a way that feels right for them. And it's not a bad thing, obviously, to like socialize and go out, not at all, but I feel like I meant it more in the sense of this person doing it as a way of escaping, maybe just creating new connections that feel more shallow, that feel more easy. Just channeling that energy to things that in the end may not genuinely mean much to this person, whereas they could have been using that energy, that motivation, even the fear, to drive them to what they do want, rather than to keeping them where they don't want to be, but just tolerating it and using that energy just to get by, rather than making actual progress. For some of you, this could be like someone you share friends with, or someone you know from work or school with the Three of Pentacles, someone you share environments with. And maybe you see them, but you don't really talk to them. Could also see this being social media as like your main form of getting information about this person. What else would this person say to group 2 if they could say anything at all? What else would this person say to my group 2s? You have the Queen of Cups in reverse. And bottom deck energy is the King of Cups. They want to be loved, they want to be cared for, but they don't know how to hold space for it. They get triggered if they feel they're being asked for too much. They feel triggered when they feel their expectations emotionally. They don't want to be held to any expectations. I feel like they don't want maybe the responsibility, because they are in this loop of feeling disappointed already by themselves. So how could they potentially not disappoint someone else? I just saw 3737. That may be of significance to you. This person could be 37 or 1010. We have the Lovers in reverse. I feel like this person has big fears around rejection, around being not accepted, around being not chosen, around being not good enough. So they try to prove themselves by maybe pursuing more materialistic things, because they think that's where their worth comes from. Materialistic things, or status, or more friends, or more lovers, whatever it may be in their exact situation. But it just feels like they seek external things Like almost like they seek accessories to decorate themselves with, rather than taking care of what's within, rather than taking care of their actual health, rather than taking care of their actual energy. Is there anything else that wants to come through? All right, we're gonna pull some cards from this little deck. I cut the deck and we have I Daydream About You. We're taking that because I feel like that has been one of the main energies that have been coming through for this group. I'm having a really hard time making my mind up right now. I'm hearing, I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't even know you. I don't even know you anymore for some of you. We have intuition. So I do think there is like an intuitive connection here. A confusing one though. Maybe because it has been so difficult to make progress, at least on their end. But I feel like you've learned from this connection nonetheless, or you are learning from it. You've been giving me more than I can give you right now. That reminds me of the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups energy that we saw. Will you forgive me? I want to know you better. I'm trying to let you go. What message wants to come through for my group twos, please? I'm unsure of my feelings for you right now. I'm just going to move these aside a little bit. I feel very connected to you. Is it too late? I'm trying to understand you better, and I am afraid of change. Bottom deck is, are you moving on from us? I want to pull some oracles to finish off this reading. Some oracles for you. So, for my group twos, please. And of course, all advice is entirely optional. You do you. And trust your own intuition over mine or anyone else's. Because you know your situation best. You know where you are. We have success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. And sometimes it's not about the duration. It doesn't have to be forever, or it doesn't have to never change, or it doesn't have to have been for nothing if it's not forever. Maybe that's the best way to put it, what I am trying to say, that this situation is now in the state that it is. It doesn't mean that, it doesn't have to mean that it was for nothing, or that it was meaningless, or that you have to make it meaningless. If it means something to you, that's fair. That's okay. You don't have to change that. You don't have to rewrite what you felt. You don't have to feel guilty for what you felt. You don't have to feel bad for what you felt. Feelings are not right or wrong. They're just feelings. And if you're revisiting the past, wondering what you could have done differently to maybe change the current situation, like, oh, if you had maybe done something better, if you'd pushed more earlier, or if you'd done differently, if you'd said something else, don't worry about that. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, but I feel like it's kind of that this person, no matter what you would have said, if they were sick and you brought them medicine, I feel like maybe they would just ignore that without knowing, without even checking to see what you brought. Because it's just too scary to have anyone at their door. And I feel like for a lot of you, you know how to get to their door. Like, you have their address. And I don't mean this like literally, but in their inner world sense. It's like you know how to get there. Not everyone does, but it's almost like you were too close. You got too close, and they had to close the curtains and pretend they're not home. And that's not on you. We have guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. I feel like this kind of ties to what I was just talking about. Happiness. I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. And this came out reversed, so the opposite also might apply. Blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. We also touched on this. And that also came out in the reverse, so maybe something, I mean, I feel like that's something this person is kind of having a hard time doing. Loneliness. I know that I am never alone. You're not alone in your experiences, and I also feel like this kind of speaks of the fact that, like, it doesn't begin and end with this situation. Unless you choose that. And you are free to do whatever it is you need to do, whatever it is that feels right to you, but it matters that it feels right to you. Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. And we have love. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. That doesn't mean invalidating your own feelings. That doesn't mean if you feel bad about something, you shouldn't. Just as a side note, but sometimes it can help to look at something from different perspectives and see if there is something helpful, useful, meaningful that you can take from it. Makes me think of the quote, "Suffering ends where meaning begins." Yeah, on this note, I think this is all I have for you. I hope this reading was helpful. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. Like I said, there is no extended today, but personal readings are available. The link is down below. And I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye. Hello, my beautiful group threes, and welcome to your reading. Today we will be looking at who it is that needs to tell you a truth, and we will then hear from them what this truth is. So we'll try to get as much information as possible, but I already pulled some oracles, so we can do a little energy check, and you can decide if this is someone you want to or need to hear from. And before we get into this, I will also say, in my mind, the word tuning in, this kept repeating. So that made me think of music, like tuning an instrument, or this person like tuning themselves, almost tuning their voice, tuning their thoughts, so that they're able to express themselves in a way that feels correct, in a way that they feel, okay, this is how it should be. Okay, I'm really expressing myself the right way. So this could be someone that has a lot of difficulty expressing themselves properly. I also get a bit of a sense of this person maybe feeling unheard. I don't think this is necessarily because you haven't listened to this person or you haven't been open. I think this is someone that maybe has a preconceived belief that they won't be heard, that they're not heard, or unless you agree on everything or you just validate maybe their perspective consistently, maybe they end up not feeling heard. Like, in the sense that I think validation for this person maybe stems from or relates to fully agreeing with them. And validation does not have to equal agreement. You can have different perspectives, different experiences, different feelings about the same situation, and you can validate someone else's experience by listening to them, understanding how their perspective may differ from yours. Differ? Anyway, let's get into this. Okay, I'm babbling a bit. Starting off, we have separation. We have 4. This card in particular makes me think of 4 walls. And 4 walls can be comforting. They can be something that brings security, something that feels cozy, something that feels warm. But it can also be imprisonment. It can also be like this separation energy as well. I feel like this really is expressed in both of these cards, that there is a disconnect. You're both in your own box, in your own perspective, and maybe neither of you really feel seen by the other, really feel heard by the other. You're both maybe too concerned with your own experience, with what you're going through. And that's not to say there's never any moments of connection or empathy. I think the connection here is quite strong. It's just kind of disrupted, interrupted. We have the firefly to represent this person's energy, and we also have share tenderness. The number 11 could be significant. That is sticking out to me the most, even though we have the number 4 itself. 11, 111, these could be synchronicities you see or have seen around this connection. I think this also kind of speaks about the individuality that's coming through for both of you, that you're kind of seeking more independence, seeking opportunities in your own path, because it feels like maybe you're both at a crossroads and your connection still remains to each other. You are still connected, you are still tied. So this could be someone that you're with, or someone that you have an understanding with, that you are still connected, you are still committed to each other in a way, at the very least, or that you still care about each other. There is still something mutual that is significant, that is shared. Even if you are not physically with this person, even if you are not officially together with this person, I think there is an awareness that this connection still exists, that it still remains, And it does feel maybe currently more on an energetic level, and it does feel like both of you are kind of facing away from this connection because you're in a place where you need to make decisions, where you need to decide what matters to you. You need to decide what your values are. Maybe there's a mismatch in beliefs, in values, in understanding kind of your day-to-day. And what I mean by that is, like, you may prioritize different things currently. I think your priority for both of you, likely right now, is going to be making some decisions for yourself. Maybe moving, maybe starting a new study, maybe picking up a new hobby, maybe selling your house, maybe getting a house. But for some reason, there doesn't seem to be agreement, and there doesn't seem to be a solid foundation when it comes to making this happen together. That's why I think this 4 energy is coming across to me in a multifaceted way. It's not just coming across as security, but it's also not just coming across as imprisonment. It's coming across as both. This is someone who feels very drawn to you, very inspired by you, but the other end of this energy is that they feel very triggered by you because there is so much passion, because there is so much intensity. They don't quite know how to deal with it, how to turn that into something practical, although they are trying. I think this person is someone that can come across harsh, but deep down they are warm. But I do get the sense that there is some hurt that runs between the two of you, maybe resentment that you feel towards each other, because there seems to be a lot of history here. And I get the sense both of you are just trying to figure out who you are, what your life is supposed to look like. Supposed to, as in whatever feels right to you. There is no right or wrong in the sense that you should do this or you should not do this. The decision is yours in the end. But I think neither of you is sure about the decisions that you need to make, about what decisions you're going to make, about what the future will bring. There's a lot of uncertainty. And there's a lot of spiraling that has kind of put itself in the middle of this connection. So it feels like there isn't much else left in it, but that is not the full truth. I don't think that's how this person sees it, even if what comes across is harsh. And that doesn't justify hurtful things they may have said, hurtful things they may have done. But I think there is still tenderness. There is still, this person really cares about you, but it is in their own way. And I'm not sure if they're always able to show this to you in a way that you can understand, or in a way that feels right for you, in a way that feels safe for you. There is something a bit volatile about this connection. I don't think essentially either of you mean harm to the other person, but I do think in this case the intention has not been the only thing that has mattered, because I get the sense that there have been mistakes, there has been pain, there have been strong disagreements, there has been difficulty seeing eye to eye. And it almost feels like you've had to decide to focus on yourself, even though neither of you has wanted to sever this connection. It's like you have to kind of switch your relationship or connection brain off to be able to do your life things, to be able to work, to be able to focus, to be able to take care of yourself. And it almost feels like, I'm sure some of you will have seen the show Severance, and it kind of makes me think of that, like the severed selves, because it feels like thinking about this connection is very overwhelming for both of you. The reason for that may vary. I think it does vary. I think there is an aspect of it where both of you feel unheard, unseen, and small, even though neither of you intends to do this to the other person, because both of you know what this feels like, and both of you know this doesn't feel good. But there is just a lot of triggered energy that is not being properly worked through. I think for some of you, it may be because this person isn't able to hold space for this energy, because they don't have space within. They are just so, I was gonna say full of themselves, but I don't mean this in the literal sense of, I think they can come across kind of selfish. I think this comes from a place of insecurity, because they are trying to prove to the world almost that they mean something. And I think this person means a lot to you. And I think you have shown them a lot of tenderness, a lot of understanding, a lot of gentleness, but it also seems like maybe this has not been a language they understand, or they expected something different. And I feel like you've really tried to show them you care, to be there for them to the best of your ability, but your ability also seems a bit hindered because of what this person may have caused you to experience. There is some sense of emotional withdrawal, a coldness, even though both of you have just wanted light and warmth. But light brings everything to light. You can't just choose. If you light up a room, you can't choose what becomes bright. Let's just think we have just overhead lighting and not mood lighting. But it's kind of this idea of, it's like too much was seen, too much was out at once, and neither of you maybe knew how to deal with it. I think there is also a stubbornness in this connection, a stubbornness to let go of each other, but also a stubbornness to let go of certain beliefs that may get in the way of this connection going as smoothly and gently as it could. There is a harshness to this energy, even though both of you want tenderness and gentleness to share that energy instead. But it's like turning on the light in this connection, maybe coming to certain realizations about how it's been. It's brought up some very scary things, scary feelings, scary beliefs, scary past mistakes, scary patterns, and it's difficult to focus on the good things in the room when there is so much that feels so scary. And I feel like both of you are kind of in a place where you're in this room, you're both scared, but you're just in your own corner. You're scared because of different things. So you're focused on different things. And I feel like neither of you is able to fully see the big picture and the picture of the connection as well. I think there is a lot of distortion right now, a lot of illusions, a lot of confusion. You could be in no contact with this person. I do think there is a sense of space, but that may mean different things for your exact connection. It could be physical distance, it could be a breakup, it could be a break. It could be just not talking to each other. Or it could be telling each other, okay, we need to take some space. We need to focus on our own selves, on our own path. And I think this person, okay, the first thing I heard was that I'm very attracted to you. I don't know if maybe there has been some kind of disagreement on this, or maybe something that made you feel like they are not attracted to you. But that was the first thing that came through, and I think maybe that is the easiest thing for them to say as well. Not because they're just saying it to have said it, but I think it's just attraction. It's kind of the simplest, it's kind of the most surface level thing. But that's not the full story at all. It's like this person is only able to show so little. Their fears have made their range much smaller. The fear has kind of overwhelmed every other thing, every other aspect. And there is also frustration coming through. This person wishes you could just it's almost like you could just touch heads and read each other's minds, because there is so much complexity here. And there is so much confusion, because I think you're both confused by your own selves and you're confused by each other. So it's just everything feels confusing. Everything feels up in the air. Everything feels like you're trapped, and everything feels like confusion. And I think there is a lot of energy to sift through here. And it is absolutely energy that can be sifted through. I don't think this is an impossible situation as a sidebar note, but I do think there are a lot of heavy energies to deal with, a lot of truths, a lot of honest conversations that need to be had. I think you already know this, but I think some of you may have difficulty being honest with your own selves as well about what you want from this situation, about what you want for yourself. Maybe it's easier to put this connection first, but maybe a part of you is telling you to put yourself first. And maybe it's the opposite for this person. I kind of get the sense that maybe they come across as selfish to you, and maybe you come across as selfish to them. I think in some ways it is important right now to follow your own path, but I don't think it's a negative thing. Unless there is someone acting completely in a way that is entirely inconsiderate and just completely unfair, which for some of you could have been the case. I don't think that is the strongest energy I feel, but you know your situation best, and you know what has happened. So if this person in this situation sounds like, well, it's been 20 minutes, so hopefully this made some sense to you if you stuck around, but let's get into the tarot and see what else we can hear from this person. And on the note of an extended reading, I'm not sure if I will do one because I haven't filmed in so long, and I kind of want to just do a collective reading and focus mainly on that, but I will see at the end what the energy feels like. I may have an extended for some piles and not for some piles. I don't know. You're the first group I'm filming, so we'll see as it goes. so stay tuned for that. Okay. I'm going to shuffle over here because there is some nudity in this deck, and YouTube gives me trouble for that. For my group 3s, the color green could be significant. And emeralds. We have the King of Pentacles. What does this person need group 3 to know, please, Spirit? What does this person need group 3 to know? What does this person need group 3 to know? We have the Page of Wands. We have the Nine of Pentacles. They're very focused on themselves. They're very focused on their career, their finances, whatever exactly it may be that is like keeping their mind very busy. But it's something more materialistic, but it is something that their self-worth seems to depend on. They're looking for something that is meaningful for them, something that inspires them. And I don't mean this in like a connection sense. They're not looking for connection outside of this connection, or like they're not looking for a replacement for this connection, let's say. They're looking for their own path. And some of you, if this person has taken distance, maybe you've interpreted that as them losing interest. But I think it's more so this person becoming more alert, more interested in figuring out their own path. And they feel this as a pressure. This means something to them in regards to their self-worth. They feel like they need to prove themselves to everyone around them, to you. And I think in some ways their anger that they feel, or the insecurity, I think that has been projected onto you. This person really, really, really cares about you, but they feel so terrified. That has made them pull away. They really care about you, but right now they need to do that from afar. Which they seem to know may come across to you as them not caring about you. They don't know how to balance that. They don't know, and I don't know why, but they don't know how to be around you and to not be overwhelmed by this energy that is between the two of you. Maybe the disagreements, maybe things that you haven't been able to agree on, things that you haven't been able to make a decision on. So they need to be independent right now. They need to figure out what excites them. They need to find meaning because they feel very lost. We have the Ten of Swords in reverse. They feel defeated. They feel like a failure in their own life. And that really hurts them. They're trying to not let it show because they don't want to be seen as a failure by other people. They don't want to be seen as someone who didn't make it. They're worried they're going to be seen as someone who didn't make it, who couldn't make it. So they're trying to keep their head up high, but I think it's taking a toll on them. And in a way, they're trying to assign the blame to something else, anything else. Maybe, in this case, to you or to this connection. Not because they truly think you are to blame for what they see as their own failure, but I think it's just easier to say that than to think it's them and they're just not meant for anything, or they're just not meant for what they want, or they'll never be as successful as they want, or as secure as they want, or as rich as they may want, or as stable, as much of a provider as they want. Because this person, they want to be a provider. This matters to them, this kind of idea of building something. And maybe this has to do with the roles society has put on this person, that their self-worth comes from how much money they make, how much they have, if they have a house, if they've figured their life out. I think there is a big energy of comparison, not with you, but with other people that are maybe in the same demographic. I think they feel very small, and that's why they scream so loud, because they don't think they'll be heard otherwise. We have the Ace of Wands. I think still they're trying to be as motivated as possible, but I think this motivation comes and goes. We also have the Hanged Man in reverse. Pisces energy or season could be significant, but this person is a bit of an escapist, and they do have impulsive tendencies. They may, for some of you, struggle with maybe substances, maybe alcohol, or even just like a lot of procrastination. But there is a strong escapism to this person, which probably also translates as escapism from the connection, and escapism when it comes to talking about what you really feel, the deeper emotions. Cancer energy could also be significant with the moon coming out. They feel like they have failed at everything, but I think their mood also kind of swings back and forth. They're trying to be optimistic. They just find it very difficult to do, and this connection makes them feel very overwhelmed. I think they feel like they're not living up to your expectations, but I think what they think your expectations are maybe their own expectations. And it's just easier to be angry at someone else, because they have to spend all of their time with their own self. They can't escape themselves, but they can run away from you. They can't mute their own mind, but they can mute you. That's kind of what it feels like. And I'm not saying that's fair at all, especially if they project this energy onto you, project this dissatisfaction they feel onto you. But I feel like they're just not showing up in alignment to how they really feel, or they're not able to explain it properly. That doesn't mean they shouldn't try. That doesn't mean you should do all the work to just understand them. But I think that's what they would prefer. Like, they don't want to have the difficult conversations. They just want the end result to be good. They want to skip the conversations. They just want the resolution. Like, just a shortcut to get there. Can we clarify the 8 of Cups, please? Eight of Cups. We have Temperance. Sagittarius energy or season could be significant. That's not too far away if you're watching this reading at the time I'm filming it. I mean, it's still a couple of months, but the space that they want, to them it's temporary. Maybe they've initiated space. Maybe they've felt too overwhelmed and they just needed some space to think think and to figure things out. It's kind of an energy of this is for the best. This is for your good as well. And I think they don't always come across so gentle. I think they're not always able to express this so well. I think that is because they're constantly triggered. We have the High Priestess. We also have Justice in reverse that fell out with it. Libra and Libra season could be significant. And Cancer energy is coming through again as well. And I think this person is withholding their true feelings. And maybe only the rough ones are coming out, because those are the feelings that are explosive. They don't necessarily choose to express them. That doesn't justify being hurtful. That doesn't justify being inconsiderate. But I think the intention is not necessarily to express any emotion, because they're withdrawing into themselves. They feel off balance. They need to care for themselves. They need a break. They need some space. But they're not able to express that. They've kind of run out of patience with themselves, with everything. They feel very overwhelmed. They feel very bogged down. Emotionally, they feel stumped. And they're trying to make up for that by escaping, by maybe doing things they absolutely love. They're trying to distract themselves. They're trying to distract themselves from this connection too. They're really in a runner energy. They are in pain. They feel you are in pain. They think you feel, in some ways, very on edge around them. Maybe backstabbed or betrayed by them. They don't know how else to make that okay besides staying away. They don't know how to fix that. They don't know if they can. We have the Four of Cups, and that's why they're disengaging. It's not that they have forgotten about you. It's not that they don't care. It's that they are purposefully disengaging because they feel trapped and they know they need to move. They need to go somewhere. They need to make things happen. It's terrifying to them, but they know it needs to happen. I think they think about you a lot, very often, maybe a bit too much for their liking. This connection feels very intense, very overwhelming to them. Is there anything else that this person needs to tell my group 3s, please? Anything else that this person needs group 3 to know right now? I just saw the 3 of Pentacles in reverse, but it flipped back in. And we have a bunch that fell. I'm just going to quickly scroll through them because it's a lot. We have the 4 of Swords in reverse. They are feeling very restless. They're really in their head. I feel like they're not really in their feelings right now because their feelings feel really all over the place. So they're in their head. That feels safer. They can cut things off with their, like, the head, it's swords, right? And it almost feels like in their head they do have a sword, and they can just cut through things. They can defend themselves. They can come up with justifications. They can come up with anything, really. They can come up with excuses. They can come up with thoughts that are comforting in the moment. And in their heart space, it's just a mess because they don't have a sword. They have a cup, and they don't quite know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with all the water. They know how to swim, but they don't know how to deal with intense waves. They don't know what to do with big waves. They've never really learned to deal with that. They're more used to swimming at the shore. They're not used to swimming at such depths, at such strong currents. We have the Chariot. Cancer energy is coming through very strongly, so I feel like this person, there is softness on the inside, but there is a currently very hard shell. There's a lot of hesitation. They're trying to do this intuitively as well. They're trying to feel things out, but I feel like they're not necessarily in a place where they have found balance within. We have the Star, which I'm gonna have to censor. Just give me a second. We'll censor it with a star, very fitting. Aquarius energy could be significant. I think this person is in a, there is desire to heal. They do care. They are hopeful, but they're trying to be realistic. And I think this person is not necessarily an optimist. I think they're not necessarily a dreamer. I think it's because they think dreaming is too scary. Because what if they're disappointed? We have the Lovers in reverse. There is still this disconnect that they acknowledge, but that doesn't take away that they care. It doesn't take away that they're still very drawn to you. But it's almost like this energy of almost currently resenting that energy of being so drawn to you because it distracts them. And that's not your fault. I feel like the dynamic here is maybe it's very complicated. So there's too much that's been said, too much that hasn't been said, too much that's been misunderstood and unexplained, and this person, really, they just want to feel, like they just want to chill, but they can't because there's all of this that's going on. They don't know how to face difficulty with someone else because they have only ever really done this alone. Even if they've had relationships in the past, I feel like there is kind of a disconnect. There is a sense of hyper-independence, but I think this is because they have maybe their whole life felt like they have to do things alone and they can't lean on anyone else. So they don't quite know how to. Even if you have been there for them, even if you have tried. We have the Knight of Wands, the Moon in reverse. They're terrified, but they're trying to push past it. But they are terrified. They don't know what they feel properly. That's what I'm hearing. They don't know what their proper feelings are. They just know right now, at the uppermost layer of their heart, if they peek down there, they see a lot of fear. And I think the reason it's coming through like they're peeking down there is because they're really in their head. They're not down in their heart space. And we have the Three of Cups. And this to me again is an energy of escapism. They just want things to be fun. They want things to be playful. They want things to be light. They want this with you again, because I don't think that's what you're experiencing in this connection right now. They want this again. They don't know how to make it happen. They just want a cheat code so they can just jump to the point where it feels light and good and playful, where things feel fine. And I think in a way they're kind of pissed off that things are not fine. Is there anything else that wants to come through for my group threes? I think I will not be doing an extended for any of the groups today. I kind of just want to focus on the main reading. So I'm going to pull some channeled messages from the good old channeled messages deck. And we have the Three of Swords as the bottom deck energy as I stopped shuffling. The name Matt could be significant as well. It's on every single card in this deck because of the creator of this deck, but just as a side note, this person is going through it. They feel hurt about everything. There's a sense of loss. There's a sense of grief. Things are changing. They can't keep up with it. Let's see what messages will come through. And as always, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave what does not. Not every message may be meant for you. Trust your own intuition over mine or anyone else's. You know your situation best. So for group 3, please. I really like you. Again, this energy of like keeping it surface level. I'm trying my best to figure this out. I am not ready for this. For some of you, there may be a decision they are avoiding making, that they're afraid to make with the Lovers in reverse, something they're just not wanting to approach. We have ego, nostalgia. Look what we have. We have I love you. I'm finding it difficult to connect with my heart space right now. This is for the best. There is a lot that went around. We have music. I'll just put it above here. I feel anxious when I think about facing you now. I am not sure of anything anymore. I feel your absence. I feel, are we still fully in frame? I feel really alone in dealing with this situation right now. I know you have a good heart. I am really attracted to you. This one's coming out again. And we have, are you ready? I'm gonna pull one oracle card for you to finish off this reading. That feels more appropriate to do, to pull an oracle card. I just don't know which deck. Okay. I know which deck to use. Group 3, please. What advice could they benefit the most from right now? Group. Okay, we have a bunch. We'll take all of them. I saw this when I first cut the deck just a second ago. I can release my need to control. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it, and I think this may relate to kind of the chapter that was, because I feel there has been an ending here. Whether that is a definitive ending or the end of a particular chapter in the connection, I feel like there has been some form of closing off a cycle. I mean, the eclipse has been what for me as well. What has it been? What's going on? The energies, it's difficult to explain, but if you feel it, I think you will understand what I mean. And the energies, they've been so potent. I've been in awe at how strongly information comes through, how clearly it comes through, even though there is so much confusion overall. Especially if I'm reading for friends. But we have empathy. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation. I feel like there is maybe difficulty with this energy in particular within this connection. And I think it may help to try to look at things not as black or white, but as just gray. And gray is more difficult to read maybe because there is less contrast, but with practice it's possible. And what I mean by that is practicing compassion and empathy for both people. You don't owe it to anyone, by the way. You owe it to yourself, but not to anyone else. We have blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. Yeah. I feel like this is maybe where both of you are at right now. But there are a lot of confusing feelings and thoughts and fears around losing this connection, or fears around not knowing how this situation is going to work out. But I feel like the most useful thing to do right now may just be focusing on your own well-being, even if it feels difficult. There is much to do for yourself. There is much that you can do for yourself. And you may not know what the future will bring. You may not know what your life will bring. You may not know the next chapter in this connection. But that doesn't mean you have to make your current chapter, your current day, where you are right now, a pool of anxiety that you're swimming in. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, but what you can control is how you deal with these energies right now, even if there is no certainty over what may come next. You get to decide what you make of today. And I think on this note, this is all I have for you. I hope this reading was helpful. I am sending you tons and tons of love. Personal readings are available, as a side note. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day or night, and take care. and bye.